Good evening, beautiful souls. Today, I want to share something that isn't just about success or productivity. It's about healing, about growing, and about becoming the kind of person who lights up the world not with perfection, but with purpose. Life doesn't always go according to our carefully laid plans. Often, we're caught off guard by pain, by uncertainty, or by events that we never asked for. In those moments, the natural response is to ask, why me? Or to think the universe is somehow unfair. But what if I told you that the way we view these hardships can either imprison us or set us free? Perspective is everything. It's not about ignoring reality, and it's certainly not about pretending everything is fine when it isn't. It's about training your mind and heart to see things differently, to look beyond the surface of your circumstances and ask, what is this trying to teach me? Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? We can begin to ask, what strength is this trying to awaken in me? Every person goes through struggles. It could be heartbreak, loss, rejection, failure, or loneliness. These are not signs that we are weak or that we failed. These are simply signs that we are human. But what separates those who grow from their struggles and those who become consumed by them is perspective. It's the ability to find meaning, even in the mess. It's realizing that even the darkest clouds can nourish the soil of your soul. When you begin to shift your perspective, you stop labeling things as a good or a bad. Instead, you start recognizing them as a necessary. You see the closed doors not as rejections, but as redirections. You understand that delays aren't denials. They might just be divine pauses, giving you time to become ready for what you've asked for. A change in perspective doesn't take away the pain, but it gives it purpose. And once your pain has purpose, it stops controlling you. Let me remind you, the most beautiful trees you see didn't grow in perfect weather. They grew through storms. They stood tall through harsh winds, freezing nights, and scorching days. And it wasn't the comfort that made them strong. It was the adversity. In the same way, your strength will not be born in your comfort zone. It will be born in the moments when life tests you, and instead of giving up, you choose to dig deeper, to stay grounded, and to rise. Shifting perspective also means becoming aware of your inner dialogue. How do you speak to yourself when things fall apart? Do you blame yourself? Do you criticize yourself? Or do you gently remind yourself that it's okay to stumble and that healing is not linear? The way you view your journey becomes the way you live your life. If you view your struggles as shameful, you'll live in hiding. But if you view them as sacred, you'll walk with grace, knowing that your scars tell stories of survival. It takes daily effort to change your perspective. It requires intention, reflection, and sometimes unlearning old beliefs that told you pain is punishment. Pain is not punishment. It's part of the human experience. And within that pain, if you're willing to look closely, there's often an invitation to evolve. There's a version of you that can only be born through this struggle. A version that is wiser, more compassionate, more courageous. Life is always speaking to us, through people, through circumstances, through setbacks. But we only hear it when we quiet the noise and look at our lives not through the lens of regret or fear, but through the lens of growth. Perspective is not just about how you see the world, it's about how you choose to see yourself in the world. And when that view becomes rooted in hope, in learning and in resilience, everything changes. Not on the outside, but from within. There is a quiet kind of strength in knowing your worth. It doesn't shout, it doesn't demand attention, and it doesn't rely on validation from the outside world. It's the kind of strength that sits gently within you, that you are enough. Not because of what you've achieved or how you appear, but simply because you exist. Yet, every day, we are surrounded by noise that tries to make us forget this truth. From social media to societal expectations, we are constantly fed the idea that we must do more, look different, earn more, be more. And in the middle of all that noise, our sense of self-worth often gets lost. Strengthening your self-worth is not an act of ego. It's an act of survival. When you don't recognize your own value, you begin to shrink yourself to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. You start accepting less than you deserve, in relationships, in work, in how people treat you, because a part of you believes that's all you're worthy of. But the truth is, you were never meant to beg for love, for respect, or for recognition. You were born worthy, and no one can take that away, unless you give them permission. Every day you must choose to stand in your worth, especially when the world tells you otherwise. That choice begins with how you speak to yourself. Pay attention to your inner voice. Is it kind? Is it forgiving? Or is it filled with criticism, comparison, and doubt? Many of us carry voices from the past. Voices of people who told us we weren't good enough, smart enough, pretty enough, strong enough. And without realizing it, we repeat those same words to ourselves over and over again. But just because someone failed to see your worth doesn't mean it isn't there. Their blindness does not define your brilliance. Self-worth is not about never feeling insecure. It's about acknowledging those insecurities and choosing not to let them define you. It's about knowing that even on your worst days, you still matter. Even when you make mistakes, you are still deserving of kindness. Even when you feel like you're falling behind, your value hasn't decreased. The world doesn't get to measure your worth with a scale, a salary, or a status update. Your worth is intrinsic. It's in your heartbeat, in your breath, in your existence. It's important to create boundaries that protect your self-worth. When you allow people into your life who constantly diminish you, question you, or try to control you, your self-worth begins to erode. But when you surround yourself with people who respect your space, honor your voice, and love you as you are, you begin to remember who you are. Choose relationships that reflect your value, not ones that make you forget it. Nay, choose the relationship you have with yourself. With yourself. Make it the most loving one. Working on your self-worth also means forgiving yourself. You are not the mistakes you've made. You are not your past. You are the lessons you've learned and the person you are becoming. Let go of the need to punish yourself for things you did when you didn't know better. Oh, this is love. Give yourself the same grace you offer to others. That's what self-worth looks like in action. It's compassion turned inward. The journey to self-worth is not always easy. Some days you'll feel strong and confident, and other days you'll feel like you're back at the beginning. That's okay. What matters is that you keep choosing yourself again and again. You keep showing up for yourself, even when no one else does. Because when you truly believe in your own worth, everything around you begins to shift. Not because the world has changed, but because you have. Gratitude is not just a feeling. It's a way of seeing the world. It's not reserved for those rare moments when everything is perfect and life is unfolding according to plan. In fact, it becomes most powerful in the moments when things aren't going well, when you feel lost, overwhelmed, or tired. It is in those exact moments that gratitude becomes a lifeline, gently reminding you that there is still something good, still something meaningful, still something beautiful, even in the middle of your pain. So often, we wait for the big moments to feel grateful. We wait for the promotion, the celebration, the breakthrough, but real gratitude lives in the small, quiet details. The warmth of sunlight on your face, the comfort of your favorite blanket, the taste of your morning tea, the sound of a loved one's voice. These are not just background noises in your day. They are the melody of life itself. When you start to notice them, everything begins to shift. Your focus moves from what's missing to what's present, from what you lack to what you have. Practicing gratitude every day doesn't mean you deny your pain or pretend to be happy when you're not. It means you learn to hold both truths at the same time. The pain and the progress, the sorrow and the strength, the heartbreak and the hope. Gratitude doesn't erase your struggles, but it gives you the strength to carry them. It tells you gently that even though things are hard, not everything is broken. Gratitude is a discipline. It's not always easy, especially when life feels heavy. But like any discipline, the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. At first, it might feel forced, writing down 3 things you're thankful for, even when your heart feels numb. But over time, your eyes begin to change. You begin to see things you never noticed before. The kindness of a stranger, the resilience in your own heart, the simple fact that you woke up today and have been given another chance. We live in a world that constantly tells us we need more. More success, more followers, more recognition, more possessions. But gratitude says, what you have is already enough. It reminds you that joy doesn't come from accumulation. When you become aware of the abundance that already surrounds you, you stop chasing happiness and start experiencing it. Gratitude also heals relationships. When you focus on what others are doing wrong, resentment grows, but when you begin to see the small ways they show love, the quiet gestures, the simple sacrifices, your heart softens. You begin to appreciate people for who they are, not for who you want them to be. That shift can transform a relationship. It can bring connection where there was once distance. Another beautiful thing about gratitude is that it grounds you in the present. So many of us live in the past, regretting, replaying, rethinking, or we live in the future, worrying, planning, hoping. But gratitude pulls you back to this moment. It tells you this is where life is happening, right here, right now, and in doing so, it quiets the noise of anxiety and brings you back to yourself. You don't need a perfect life to feel grateful. You just need a willing heart and open eyes. Gratitude isn't about having everything. It's about noticing everything. It's about realizing that even on your hardest days, something is still holding you up. Something is still working in your favor. Something is still whispering, "Hey, keep going." That whisper is gratitude. Soft, steady, and always present. Dreams often begin in silence. They are born in the corners of your heart where no one else can see them, where no one else has to approve of them. Though they come to you in whispers in the quiet moments when the world is still and your soul dares to speak. Yet, because they are fragile and unseen, dreams are often the first things we abandon when life becomes loud and difficult. We convince ourselves they're unrealistic, too late, too far away. But the truth is, your dreams are not meant to be practical or easy. They're meant to pull you forward, to awaken something deeper inside you, to remind you that you are here for more than just surviving. Nurturing your dreams is an act of courage. Every single day you must choose to believe in them, even when no one else does, especially when no one else does. There will always be voices that question you, that doubt your path, that ask you to take the safer road. Sometimes those voices come from the outside, and sometimes they come from within you. But dreams do not need unanimous support to be valid. They just need one heart, yours, to believe in them enough to take the next step. The journey toward a dream is rarely a straight line. It's full of detours, disappointments, and doubts. But that doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're growing. Every small step you take, even when it feels insignificant, is building momentum. The late nights, the early mornings, the quiet discipline that no one sees, they all matter. Because dreams are not achieved in a single moment of glory. They are created in the thousands of unseen moments where you kept going, despite the lack of recognition, despite the fear, despite the odds. Sometimes your dream may change shape as you move forward. That doesn't mean you've lost it, but it means you're learning more about who you are and what truly matters to you. Allow yourself to evolve with your dream. Let it stretch you. Let it surprise you. Let it become something even more meaningful than what you first imagined. The dream is not just the destination, it's who you become along the way. There will be times when you feel like giving up, when the weight of it all feels too heavy and the road ahead seems endless. In those moments, remember why you started. Remember the feeling that sparked the dream in the first place. Go back to that place inside you where the dream was pure and untouched by fear or comparison. Reconnect with that truth. It will remind you that your dream is not just about success or achievement. It's about expression. It's about purpose. It's about living a life that feels true to who you are. You don't need to take massive leaps every day. Sometimes nurturing your dream looks like rest. Sometimes it looks like writing one sentence, making one phone call, trying again after fail. The size of the step doesn't matter as much as the willingness to keep stepping. Your consistency is more powerful than you think. Over time, those small acts of devotion add up to something beautiful and meaningful. There may be days when the dream feels distant and you wonder if it will ever come to life. But even on those days, it's working within you. It's shaping your thoughts, your resilience, your focus. It's preparing you for what's ahead. Trust that process. Trust that slow growth is still growth. And know that if the dream was planted in your heart, it's there for a reason. You are the only one who can bring it to life in your unique way, through your voice, your vision, your hands. Kindness is often mistaken for weakness, as if being soft somehow means being small. But true kindness requires a strength that many overlook. The strength to rise above bitterness, to stay open in a world that sometimes hardens people, and to offer love even when you've been hurt. It's easy to react with anger when someone wrongs you. It's easy to close your heart after disappointment. What's difficult is choosing to remain kind without becoming naive, to extend grace while still holding your boundaries. Kindness isn't about grand gestures. It lives in the everyday, in the way you greet someone with genuine warmth, in the way you listen without interrupting, in the way you choose not to retaliate when you're misunderstood. It's in the smile you offer a stranger, the message you send to someone just to check in, the moment you slow down enough to really see another person. These things may seem small, but they create ripples far beyond what you can measure. Sometimes the smallest act of kindness becomes the turning point in someone's entire day. Being kind doesn't mean you always feel good. Sometimes it's uncomfortable. Sometimes it means forgiving someone who never apologized. Sometimes it means walking away from someone you love because the relationship is hurting both of you. Kindness is not passivity. It's not staying silent to keep the peace. It's not people pleasing or denying your own needs. It's the choice to act with compassion toward others and toward yourself, even when it's difficult. You sweat so much about how you've treated yourself. If you carry shame, if you constantly criticize yourself, it becomes harder to extend patience and empathy to others. That's why kindness must begin within. Speak to yourself the way you would to someone you love. Hold space for your own healing, your own pain, your own joy. When your inner voice is kind, your outer actions naturally follow. In a world where people are rushing, where conversations are shallow, where validation often depends on likes and followers, kindness is a form of rebellion. It's choosing presence over performance. It's choosing understanding over judgment. It's choosing to see people, not just for what they do, but for who they are. You never really know what someone is going through. They might be smiling while carrying a storm inside. They might be achieving great things while silently battling self-doubt. Law. Your words, your tone, your energy, they have the power to either burden or uplift. There is a kind of kindness that goes beyond words. It's in the way you look at someone with empathy instead of impatience. It's in the way you hold space for people to be themselves, even when they're messy, even when they're still figuring things out. And sometimes the kindest thing you can do is simply to be fully present with someone, not trying to fix them, not giving advice, just being there. Oh, that kind of presence is rare and it's sacred. Kindness is also about what you choose not to say. When you hold back from gossip, when you resist the urge to criticize, when you choose not to add fuel to someone's insecurity, that's kindness too. It's in the restraint, in the self-awareness, in the decision to use your words to build rather than to break. It's easy to point out flaws. It takes intention to speak life into someone. The world doesn't need more people trying to be impressive. It needs more people trying to be kind. People who care more about connection than perfection. People who lead with their hearts. People who understand that kindness is not something you perform, it's something you live. We live in a culture that glorifies speed, fast results, instant success, immediate gratification. We scroll through highlight reels and see people achieving milestones overnight, forgetting that behind most of those stories lies a quiet, consistent journey that no one sees. It's easy to believe that if something doesn't happen quickly, it's not happening at all. But growth doesn't follow a straight line, and it rarely happens in a rush. Real, lasting growth is slow, subtle, and often invisible, until one day you realize you've become someone stronger, softer, wiser. Slow growth teaches you things that quick success never can. It teaches you patience. It teaches you humility. It teaches you how to keep showing up day after day, even when there's no applause, no reward, and no clear sign that it's all working. But it is working. But it is working. Every moment of quiet persistence is seed planted. Every small effort is a root forming underground, preparing to support something greater in time. Just because you can't see the results yet doesn't mean the work is meaningless. Bah! In a world full of pressure to perform, choosing slow growth is an act of courage. It means letting go of the need to compare your journey to anyone else's. It means trusting your own timing even when it doesn't match the timeline you once imagined. It means understanding that your pace does not define your potential. You are not behind. You are not late. You are simply moving at the rhythm that's right for your life, and that rhythm is sacred. Slow growth is sustainable. It gives you space to learn without fear of failure, to make mistakes without collapsing under the weight of perfectionism. It allows you to build something strong, something real, something that can weather the storms. When you grow slowly, you grow deeply. You become rooted, not easily shaken by setbacks, not dependent on praise, not swayed by fleeting motivation. You begin to find meaning in the process, not just in the outcome. There's a certain kind of beauty in watching yourself evolve over time. When you take a step back and look at where you were a year ago, not just in achievements but in your mindset, your heart, your healing, you start to realize how far you've come. That kind of transformation doesn't happen overnight. It happens when you make the quiet decision to keep going, to keep showing up for your own life, even when no one else notices. Slow growth invites presence. It teaches you to be where your feet are instead of constantly reaching for the next thing. It helps you find joy in the middle, not just at the end. You begin to notice the quiet progress, the way you react with more grace, the way you speak to yourself more gently, the way you handle challenges with a little more strength than before. These moments are easy to overlook, but they are signs of profound growth. Sometimes the reason growth feels slow is because it's happening on the inside first. Before anything changes around you, something must shift within you, your beliefs, your fears, your habits, your self-worth. That inner work takes time. It's not linear and it's not always visible, but it's powerful. And once the inside begins to align, the outside begins to follow, not with force but with flow. Slow growth doesn't mean lack of ambition. It means building a foundation strong enough to hold the weight of your dreams. It means becoming the kind of person who can carry the blessings they're asking for. It means learning the lessons now that will sustain you later. So when success does arrive, it doesn't break you. It becomes an extension of the person you've already become through the journey.